Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark from the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Mark from the States. How are we doing today? I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are as well. Thank you for coming. I appreciate all of you. I hope you understand how much you guys mean to me. I appreciate all of the emails and the comments and everything. I really do. You guys are just absolutely amazing and wonderful humans. Come sit on this big fake couch. You know the drill today. Requested video. King Charles I, beheaded, head removed from body for treason. This is from, I love it when you guys are recommending guys that I just love, and Kevin Hicks from the History Squad is definitely one of them, and I just love the way he tells a tale. Hopefully you do too, so let's chill out, watch something kind of cool. Hopefully you don't know the true story about this. Hopefully you find out something new, and I'm going to learn, because I have no idea about a lot of the stuff we watch. So it's been really fun. It's been really fun. So let's do this.
Hi, and welcome to our YouTube channel, The History Squad. We're doing a little series of films, it might go on knowing me, about this day in history, but each film I'm looking for a twist in the tale. And what we're doing today, on this day in history, 30th of January 1649, the execution of Charles I, King of England. He'd been found guilty of treason. After 7 years of civil war, he'd been defeated, put on trial. Oh, the story is so involved. And it's not that simple. It wasn't just treason, yeah? But that's for you to read. I'm going to talk about his execution and the twist in the tale. This man, he wasn't very tall, just under 5 foot, if I remember correctly. Others will say, no, he was over 5 foot. Well, after the execution, he was short by a head. So there's a little joke there. Now, Charles I, he walked to his execution across St. James's Park. Freezing January day. So he'd requested an extra shirt so he didn't shiver in front of his captors. He was escorted by a regiment of soldiers. Nobody could get anywhere near him, but he walked proud, yeah? And when he had to wait 3 hours, actually just wait before he would appear on the scaffold, he had to climb out of a window at the banqueting house in London and then walk on this black draped executioner's, I suppose you call it a stage almost, yeah? And it got sand round by the block. But the block itself
would make sense.
Was only about 4 inches. So the king had to lie down. Now I question this, and one of the stories I'd heard many years ago was the block and the axe had been pinched. Somebody'd stolen it. So they had to improvise. Now I don't know if that's true. If you've got any input on this, comment section. Let's get some conversation going, because the poor king had to lie face down. People couldn't see him. They couldn't hear his speech, because in front of this gallows, yeah, was this rank upon rank of soldiers keeping the people away. The king had a white nightcap on. He tucked his hair in it. As he lay down, though, he was going to give a signal, outstretch his arms, and then bang, the execution could take off his head. This is a brave man. Calm, yeah? But the executioner must have touched the back of his neck, whether it's with the axe or with tuck some hair in or something. And the king said, no, I'm not ready yet. And the executioner, said, oh, sorry, and all that kind of stuff. And then the king, arms out, heads off. Executioner holds it up. Now, two versions. Holds it up. Behold the head of a traitor. Yeah, but others say he didn't say a word, but he dropped the head into the soldiers at the foot of the deck there,
Wow.
And they just snipped off hair and dipped their handkerchiefs in blood. Well, this is the twist in the tale. You see, the body was buried. St. George's Chapel, Windsor. About 8 days later, it had been embalmed.
I'm sorry for pausing. Why would they dip their handkerchiefs in blood? As a souvenir? As a way to remember him? that's so wild. And I know there's going to be some of you out there who know why they would do that. Take the hair for their own collection of hair. I don't know. I mean, wow. Okay, that's pretty wild. Let's go back.
St George's Chapel, Windsor. About 8 days later, it had been embalmed and it was encased in lead. He was buried in the tomb of Henry VIII.
What?
That should be the end of it. However, George III's reign, so I understand, workmen disturbed it. The body was checked out. Well, I've got another story. And this one, I love it. You see, the workman story is just he was identified as Charles I. But there's an alternative story that when they uncovered his face, it was perfect. Well, of course, it had been sealed against the air. But the second they opened the veil that covered his face and the lead, his eyes that shone blue suddenly turned white and appeared to blink as the body decomposed. Bang! Can you imagine that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah? Oh my goodness me, he's alive. No, he's not, he's dead. Because somebody who was present put their hand to check that the king's head had been severed. Have we got the right guy? And they took a piece of vertebrae out and kept it. The body was resealed, reburied in the tomb of Henry VIII. And years later, it transpires that Queen Victoria, so the story goes, heard that this guy had got this bone that he put salt in on his table for dinner guests. And she ordered that it be replaced into the coffin. So was Charles I dug up twice? Was it workmen who deserved it? Or is there another tale? Comment section. Join in the conversation because I love these stories. These are stories that I've heard. Are they true? Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed our little film here.
He's scared.
If you have, thumbs up,
He totally
subscribe,
scared me there.
ding the bell. Thank you very much.
Yes, please support Kevin and the History Squad. They are excellent. He's such a good tip. I literally jumped. So if I can recap, if I got this right, so they dug up the tomb to verify it's him, I guess, or they're working there and they found him or something like that, and they weren't sure it was him. He was gone, or the person that they thought was him may have not been him. Had to check to see if he was actually, beheaded. I mean, and then the guy took the vertebrae. What's going on here? So bizarre. I may have to watch a more in-depth kind of a story on this whole thing. That is on my own time, of course. So bizarre. So bizarre how people were back then. I mean, okay. Yeah, so dipping their handkerchiefs with his blood and snipping his hair, digging up bodies, taking vertebrae, just odd behavior. Of course, to this modern person who has no history when it comes to kings and queens. So, interesting. I hope everybody's happy, healthy, and safe. Did you know any of this? I'm sure a lot of you did. Can you elaborate on some of the stories that he's telling? Like he'd asked. I, too, ask if what stories are true and what are not. It's so bizarre. And, of course, he's not the first that was beheaded, and he's not the last. But still, very, very bizarre. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Mark from the States, Mark from the States, it's Mark. And he's